Hi, you feather merchants. This story is a continuation of when, excuse me, is when I was working as an iron worker at a local 395 in Northwest Indiana, and spending my winters down in Mexico. Anyway, I'm with a friend of mine. He was actually he was an operating engineer, and I went to high school with him, and he was able to get off for months at a time also, being an operating engineer. That was one of the perks of being an iron worker. You had a lot of freedom. So we're in this little fishing village, San Blas, Nayarit, and we were hanging out with these Australians. And this was around the first when we first ran into these Australians. And my buddy, he wasn't very big. I think he only weighed about 140 pounds, but pound for pound, he was one of the toughest guys I ever knew. This guy was unbelievable. Sober, he was the nicest person, but when he was under the influence of alcohol, it was like he was Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde or something. He would get crazy. Well, we're in this little bar called Torino's, and that's where we all hung out at night. A very unique bar. In fact, the bar itself was it was like a sailboat. It wasn't very big, but it was built like an actual sailboat, and the bartender would be behind the sailboat. And of course, they had the crocodile pit that I had mentioned in one of my previous videos, and the crocodile pit was right in the middle of the bar, and there was just a small bamboo fence that's separating that from the customers. I think today they'd lock you up if you had a bar with live crocodiles in the middle of it. And, I mean, these weren't little crocodiles; they were big. They were like man eaters. Well, we're with my buddy. He got drunk, and we're with these Australians. Nice guys, really good guys. They were an interesting group. Most of them, they were working up in Canada in the summertime. They'd spend their winters down in Mexico or in Europe. And when we ran into them, they were spending their winters in Mexico. So my buddy, he's drunk, and he gets in an argument with one of the Australians. And the Australian he got in an argument with, he was from the outback someplace. He talked about riding horses, fighting kangaroos, all kinds of crazy stuff. He probably weighed probably 180 pounds, but he was like 180 pounds of muscle. This guy was, you want to pick a fight with him, but no, my buddy, he decided he got in an argument with him, and the Australian turned his glass upside down. Maybe he turned his bottle upside down. I don't know what he did. One of the two. And my buddy asked him, he says, well, what's that supposed to mean? And one of the other Australians said, he just challenged you, mate. He didn't get mate out of his mouth. And my buddy jumped across that table, and he grabbed that Australian by the ears and bit him in the face and tried to tear his ears off of his head. The fight was on. I mean, it was brutal. Finally, the Australian was able to gain composure, and he got my buddy down on the ground, and he's beating him. I mean, he's hammering him. And he asked him if he had enough. My buddy, he didn't say anything, so I knew he hadn't did have enough. And I thought it was a bad idea to let him up, but he let him up, and when he let him up, the fight was on again. I mean, my buddy attacked him again, and it ended up finally they stopped, and but the Australian, he won the fight, but it certainly didn't look like it. He was all busted up. It was like bite marks on his face. He almost lost his ears. Well, anyway, this story isn't particularly about that. This is interesting. We're in Torino's another night, and this might have been another. It might have been the same year actually. Anyway, my buddy, actually his nickname was Mouse, and like I said, he's a tough guy. So Mouse is drunk again, and he gets in an argument with one of the locals. And you don't want to do that in a little town, you're in a different country. When he gets in an argument with this local, and the fight's on. So the guy that he's fighting, Mouse tries to push him into the crocodile pit. I mean, this is serious stuff. If that kid goes in that crocodile pit, this is going to be a murder, because the crocodiles ate him alive. Well, we grabbed Mouse right away, got him off of him. And when we did that, the kid ran out of the bar, and we just thought, well, he's going to go home or something. Well, he didn't go home. He went to the police station. So back then, the local cops, they weren't like a well-trained police department. These guys looked like something out of the Wild West. And the previous year, Mouse had made friends with one of these guys. His name was Pancho. And Pancho was the leader of the pack. And Mouse bought him a windbreaker. Bought him a windbreaker for $10. And these guys were only making about $1 a day. So a $10 windbreaker, oh, that was quite a present. Well, who shows up at the front door? This kid with the police. And the cops, they come in the door, and I'm telling you, it's like being in a Western movie or something. They're all they're wearing cowboy hats or sombreros. The Pancho used to wear a sombrero. Excuse me. And he had a 6-gun on him, and he's leading the pack, and he's looking for the gringo that hurt this kid. Well, the kid, they're talking Spanish, and he points the finger at Mouse, and Pancho confirms that Mouse is the perpetrator, and right away, that's his friend. He's not going to arrest Mouse, so he gives the kid a scolding, and the next thing I know, the kid's walking out of the bar by himself, and Pancho and Mouse give each other a hug, and that was kind of the end of the incident. But that could have been, that could have been really an ugly incident. And I got another good one about San Blas. Is we used to have Christmas and New Year's party every year, and we'd invite anyone that was anybody, from the mayor to not the city police, but we'd invite immigration and anyone that was involved in politics. And I've got a really good story to tell you about that, and I'll do that in a later video. Anyway, I'm going to sign off.